we saw cold-blooded murder, 8 minutes and 46 seconds. And so when my 7-year-old says to my mother or to my wife, "Mommy, why is it that that policeman has his knee on that man's neck? And Mommy, is he going to do that to me? And Mommy, will he do that to you? Will he do that to Papa? Will he do that to Cole and Ella? And Mommy, why are the other policemen, why are they just standing around? Because other people are saying, help him, help him. And he's saying, I can't breathe. I can't breathe. Remember, Eric Garner couldn't breathe. And so what do we tell our children? What do you tell your children? What do I tell Leo?
Ray, it's heartbreaking. Let me ask you this. As somebody who advises corporate leaders around the country and around the world, and so many corporate leaders are trying to step up, talking about stepping up, thinking about what they can or cannot do, what would you tell them to do right now? Well,
first you have to acknowledge that we have what the COVID and all its disaster acknowledged. We see the disproportionate impact that COVID has had on the Black community. Disproportionate. What COVID has done is expose the virus that existed here for 400 years. There is the systemic racism of economics, the systemic racism in education, the systemic racism in healthcare, the systemic racism in the criminal injustice. And so what I say to the CEOs and to the corporate leaders around the country and around the world is that this time should be different. This time has to be different. I applaud the $10 to $100 million gifts and the relatable messages. We've been there before. Let this not just be another stop by another grave marker. What the world has now acknowledged is that this racism exists. And since Wall Street is focused on numbers and corporate America is focused on numbers, we have to understand that in 1955, the Fortune 500 was created. 65 years later, there have been 20 CEOs. Today, there are 5 who are Black. Of the 70 trillion assets that we manage, less than 1% are managed by what they call diverse managers. And if you think about African Americans, it's going to be significantly less than that. In New York City, which has 65% minorities, less than 3% of the contracts go to those minorities. At my alma mater, which has served as a feeding pool for Wall Street talent, this year they had 938 in the class of 2021. They've held consistent with 50 African Americans, and that number is held constant, notwithstanding Harvard Business School increasing its numbers for 3 decades. What do I tell CEOs? We welcome the millions of dollars. We welcome the relatable messages, but we need to do more. We need to change the relatable messages and the $10 million, which are important. They don't begin to get to the systemic racism. We can't satisfy ourselves that we've checked the box yet again. We can't satisfy ourselves that in the George Floyd funeral, we had more mourners. We had a wider television audience. And 6 months from now, or maybe 6 weeks from now, we forget that George Floyd, 8 minutes and 46 seconds, knee on the neck by those who take an oath to protect us, have abused us. What should the corporate world do? We need to change a mindset. We need to have the conviction to change the mindset. It is not check the box. It is not check the box. We need to have the courage to recognize that this is a defining moment. If I look at those who are protesting, I got as many white kids, millennials, boomers generations out protesting. And yeah, I got some anarchists, and I got some looters, and I got some people out there who are political opportunists. But the people are now saying this is a defining moment in the course of American history, and we ought to take that moment. Otherwise, it will have been another sad day in the neighborhood, and we all will have witnessed.